Welcome.
Merci.
Vous avez la parole.
Merci beaucoup, James. Merci beaucoup d'être là. On a fait plusieurs conférences sur ce salon et je pense que celle-ci est peut-être celle qui nous tenait le plus à cœur parce que on voulait vous partager tout simplement ce qu'on a fait ces derniers 12 mois chez Learnship GlobalEnglish. Je fais un sondage, mais franchement c'est le premier et le dernier. Qui nous connaît dans la salle? Qui connaît l'entreprise Learnship, peut-être? Très bien, merci. Bon, c'est mon service marketing qui va être content. Donc je vais laisser Rob se présenter plus tard. En effet, une grande partie de cette présentation sera en anglais. Moi, je fais que introduire cette présentation, parce que je suis un peu la caution française de l'événement. Je voulais qu'on parle d'un projet, de ce projet-là, qu'on voulait partager avec vous. Donc c'est vraiment une espèce de confidence qu'on va faire aujourd'hui. Ça fait 12 mois qu'on travaille, on a envie d'en parler maintenant à quelqu'un. Voilà, on a envie de partager certaines choses. Il y a un an, et un peu plus d'un an, on a racheté en effet l'entreprise GlobalEnglish, que vous connaissez peut-être aussi, une société américaine qui est spécialisée dans le digital learning, pour les langues, dans l'e-learning. Et l'enjeu, du coup, était très fort pour nous parce qu'on a, avec cette fusion-là, on a décidé tout simplement de repenser donc, nos propres programmes et en profiter pour proposer quelque chose vraiment de qualité sur le marché. Alors d'une part, on a Learnship et la classe virtuelle que nous proposons. De l'autre part, on a GlobalEnglish. Et bien sûr, ce qui paraissait le plus évident, c'est qu'on puisse proposer une offre en blended learning entre ces deux plateformes, c'est-à-dire proposer des formations qui combinent et e-learning et face à face avec un formateur. Alors, les entreprises, nos clients sont demandeurs. Pourquoi ils font appel je vais rester là. Pourquoi ils font appel au blended? Pourquoi aussi aujourd'hui le blended reste voilà, je vois beaucoup de personnes acquiescer. Le blended learning, malgré le fait qu'il soit utilisé à tort et à travers, reste aujourd'hui une solution qui est très 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 demandée par les entreprises. Il y a 3 raisons. On pense qu'il y a 3 raisons qui font que les entreprises cherchent et priorisent cette modalité. La première, c'est l'innovation que propose cette solution-là. Donc c'est des solutions digitales, le contenu est de qualité, en tout cas c'est l'attente qu'on a, et l'approche est nouvelle. D'ailleurs, on va en parler ensuite avec Rob. L'approche qu'on a privilégiée, ou l'approche pédagogique qu'on a privilégiée pour cette nouvelle offre, est l'approche de la classe inversée. En tout cas, innover en pédagogie était un des objectifs qu'on avait en tête pour développer cette offre-là. Le deuxième point, c'est l'engagement des apprenants. Alors souvent les employés peuvent être en effet un peu abandonnés à leur sort lorsqu'on leur propose des solutions innovantes. L'objectif qu'on avait été de pallier à ce point-là. Et puis le coût peut être aussi un troisième point important et un troisième critère de choix pour notre client, et notamment lorsqu'ils vont à la recherche d'une offre en blended. Alors nous, suite au rachat de GlobalEnglish, on s'est retrouvés finalement dans cette situation-là. Historiquement, Learnship est un provider de visio-formation avec des spécialisations par métier, par secteur. On propose du coaching, des formations interculturelles. GlobalEnglish, une plateforme de contenu illimité et une application mobile. Cette acquisition aujourd'hui nous permet d'avoir 3 plateformes potentielles à proposer et à intégrer dans ce parcours blended. Notre classe virtuelle propriétaire, la plateforme e-learning et l'application mobile Reach. Alors ça n'a pas été simple et je vais laisser la parole tout de suite à Rob, mais je vais quand même vous donner un peu petite vue sur ce qu'on a enduré pendant cette année-là. On s'est penché sur la construction de cette offre blended. On a regardé un peu le marché. On voulait vraiment se dire quels sont les do's et don'ts de cette offre, qu'est-ce qu'on doit absolument garder, qui se fait déjà, et qu'est-ce qu'on doit absolument éviter. Voici un schéma qui vous donne un peu les 3 points qu'on a essayé d'éviter tout de même. On s'est rendu compte, bien sûr, que les blended learning, le full blended, souvent combinait des modalités qui n'avaient aucune structure, aucune plutôt cohérence pédagogique, en termes de contenu. Bien sûr, je parle. Le deuxième point, on s'est rendu compte que beaucoup d'organismes, et peut-être même nous dans le passé, on s'est focalisé sur le prix, sur une solution qui est scalable, qu'une solution qui soit réellement déployable à une échelle qui soit mondiale, moins sur la qualité et le contenu de cette formation. Et puis on s'est rendu compte qu'on construisait au fait des offres autour d'une offre e-learning à la base, et c'est l'erreur qu'on souhaite éviter, et on va vous dire pourquoi tout de suite. Voilà, on a pris, on a essayé de prendre ces 3 points et de partir à zéro, from scratch, pour créer cette offre dans Rob et le père spirituel. Voilà, merci. Quelqu'un me l'a soufflé. C'est la fin du salon, je commence à perdre un peu mes mots. Rob, je te laisse la parole. Je voulais juste dire un point aussi, c'est que Learnship aujourd'hui dispose de plus de 1400 formateurs. Donc autant vous dire que c'est aussi une responsabilité qu'on avait de créer une offre qui soit réellement de qualité pour que ces formateurs puissent la dispenser ensuite. Donc Rob, à toi la parole. Je te laisse te présenter aussi. Et merci.
Thanks, Anas. And at that point, I'll switch into English if that's okay for everybody here. So yeah, it's nice to be back. This is the 3rd time I've spoken at this event. And previously, when I'd been here, I was talking about why humans are important to keep in the mix, while artificial intelligence is expanding all around us, why human trainers are far more supple and powerful and should be rewarded far more than they are by the edtech industry. I've also spoken about why Learnship always kept the human trainer at the forefront of our investment. And now, with the acquisition of GlobalEnglish, it's quite an exciting time to be coming at blended learning from a very different angle, to be coming from a place where we were fundamentally, up until last year, a school. Now we're a digital platform. And going forward, we need to be both. And for this industry to flourish, that's exactly what we all need to do. You need to have tech developers, you need to have the curriculum experts, you need to have the teachers all communicating efficiently. And that's been our experience since April last year with the acquisition of GlobalEnglish. And I'll talk now about the lessons that we've learned along the way. Firstly, we started from scratch. We did not reuse any of the content from the GlobalEnglish 1 platform. We didn't repurpose any content from the existing Learnship content library. What we started to do was some very unglamorous plumbing and architectural work at the back end of the platforms, because all of a sudden you had this landscape of tech, and we needed something that was rational, coherent, and that made sense, right? So starting from scratch. We've just about produced 160 hours of new content, 80 hours of digital content, 80 hours of classroom content, through our internal content team. So after the acquisition, we now have 100 people in product. We've got 80 people in tech, based in Chennai and Bangalore in India. We also have developers in Munich. And the content team, which works directly with myself, writing, editing, instructional design, video production, and audio production. So altogether, it's about 100 people in product, and we're quite excited about the roadmap going forward. Today, I'd like to talk about the development process, getting this far to the second quarter this year, where we'll release the first group level, so Learnship GlobalEnglish solution, which is a blended skills modular approach. The whole idea was to retain the trainer quality which Learnship established itself with. So in 2008, Learnship got started. We did not target the digital self-paced market. We targeted the face-to-face traditional online training market. And we were successful there with various German Mittelstand, so middle-sized companies, multinationals. We expanded to Switzerland and then to France. And now with this acquisition, we have offices also in Mexico City. We're in Tokyo, we're in Shanghai, we're in Sao Paulo, and now we're global. And so it's an exciting time, obviously for us during the restructuring. And what we said we wanted to achieve was something rational and coherent. And whenever I sit down with a blank piece of paper, I like to look at the studies. So we did our due diligence academically. And what we found was the whole industry in blended learning and education technology has the same problem, which is engagement. Okay, and the US Department of Education published a study, I think this was 2010, if I'm correct, yep, basically that the more instructor involvement there is, the more engaged people are. Humans are engaged by other humans, as I've said before in previous years. That had to be retained, even in our search for scalability and in search of a global footprint. You cannot forget that part. And another study, this is from the University of Leeds, essentially saying it's very exciting that you have different technical solutions. It's very cool, it's nice for marketing. But if they are not matched with the pedagogical content and objectives as the correct delivery channel, that's also not solving any problems, okay? So people get excited sometimes about these things because they're glossy and they're easy to sell for short one sales cycle. That's not what we're looking to do at Learnship. Now, we're looking at building something robust, retaining credibility, and even displacing specialist providers of education and training in the distance learning segment. So the ambitions are extreme. The solution that we created integrates various different delivery channels. You've obviously got the platform itself, the digital platform for self-paced learning. You've got the virtual classroom, and you've got the mobile application. So we inherited the Reach mobile application from GlobalEnglish. We've added functionality to that app. So it was previously a gamified track of business functional language exercises. What we've done now is made it possible for the trainer or the pedagogical team centrally to allocate specific missions to the learners. That was a very important part of having a coherent curriculum. So, we had a lot of discussions within the team as to what would work with learners. We've been conducting an iterative cycle of development in sprints, and also conducting user testing throughout. These are just some of the things we chatted about and experimented with. We played with different lengths of videos, different navigation systems, different ways of laying out the page. Essentially, we wanted it to be easy. One of the reasons that engagement suffers is that people find there are too many options, they don't know what they're expected to do, and they log out, they panic. We didn't want that. So we've used a task-based card interface, which is very, very clear. It restricts the options. The logic, or the philosophical logic there, is that people approach training organizations because they're looking for expertise. People go to the doctor when they're sick. You don't expect the doctor to just give you, just take you into a room full of medicine and say, find something, I hope you get better. People come to us for guidance. We should provide that, both in the tool and through our trainers at every step of the way. That's important. Optimal length of videos and audio. You see on social media these days, videos are just getting shorter and shorter. The attention span of the average person is getting shorter and shorter. And to what degree does the curriculum designer go with that trend? And to what degree do you draw a line in the sand and say, no shorter? Right? That's important. The management of difficulty, I find that's very, very important for engagement. If your material suddenly gets much more difficult or much easier, that makes no sense. And that was one of the problems I saw with bundled solutions in the market. And I spoke earlier about what we saw as the problems in the market. What we found is a lot of people sitting on digital platforms of content, realizing engagement was dropping, realizing they need some kind of trainer-based classes, but because all the investment was put into the platform, they underestimate the investment in managing trainers, and the result is something that doesn't work. Yeah? The difficulty level goes up and down. Sometimes you have 4 or 5 trainers on one course because the churn is so great because people can't manage them properly, and the result is very confusing for the learner. Must be avoided. Scoring and reporting. With GlobalEnglish, we inherited the dashboard software, which is for HR managers, where you can see how many exercises people have completed, how long they've been on the site, and so on. This is standard sort of dashboard stuff. What we've added here is a new scoring dimension, which is performance-based, which is based on can-do statements, which aligns with the same way the trainers are assessing the content as well in the live sessions. So it's a coherent, formative and summative assessment model. Yeah. Good. Okay, now this slide I include just for reasons of discussing the development process. This is an early prototype of classroom content that we wrote. And I don't know if anybody can notice, but lots of text, okay? So we wanted to tell a story. We decided to use case studies like you might do at a business school because we think that's authentic and relevant. We chose issues in business which are relevant for 2020. So that might be connectivity, electric cars, churn, outsourcing, these sort of business challenges. We made sure that we covered a wide range of nationalities, a wide range of cultures. All of the companies are fictional, but it's a lot of text on a slide. So what we've done is we've sort of worked with it. We did user testing at low levels, at high levels. We've shortened the text. We've used more images to tell stories. And we've started to use an introductory slide now with open questions, personalizing questions. What do you know about outsourcing? To activate the anecdotal memory of the learners as well. So that's an example of something that's changed a number of times during the development. This is the actual task itself. So in this case, we had fun developing these things. This is in Prague. It's a software development company, kind of startup. Very hot, and everybody wants to work for them, but the developers leave after like a year, 18 months, and they have a problem keeping guys on. And what are they going to do to retain talent, right? Now, this is something that should chime with most people working in business. That's important for our task-based learning approach to work in the classroom. You got the HR manager, trade union representative, head of design. Everybody wants something else. The target for this week, and I haven't spoken about that yet, the Common European Framework works as a nice framework of outcomes. So does the Pearson Global Scale of English. But for this product development, we created our own taxonomy of outcomes based on the business communication skills we wanted to focus on. And this particular week, the people are working on disagreeing politely with others and proposing alternatives. That's the explicit can-do that you want that week. And we use the same target language in the digital self-study, in the classroom session, and in the reinforcement, in the micro-learning reinforcement. There's a red thread, as they say in German, the rote Faden, of curriculum logic tying the whole week together, a cross-platform logic, which makes people engaged, which makes it make sense, and makes it as defensible as any academic curriculum anywhere else. It just happens to use technology. So this is a downloadable PDF, which you can get from the platform itself in the self-paced element. So that's the first thing you do in a normal week. You can see here we've taken a functional linguistics approach, proposing, agreeing partially, disagreeing, compromising, and accepting. What we're fundamentally trying to do through this product is increase the range of linguistic options available to people and increase their sense of when it's appropriate to use each option. Typically, people have a passive knowledge of certain language and a smaller active knowledge. What we're trying to do is strengthen the active section of their language, make them more confident, make them more fluent. They download this PDF. These phrases are exactly the ones that we've based exercises on in the self-paced learning. These are the ones that they'll use in the role play as well. Okay. Just a note, I want to come back to this. We spoke about coherence across the different platforms. These are the basic elements we looked at, just a summary. The platform, the methodology, the level of difficulty, the objectives, and the themes and the characters should be coherent all the way through. It takes a great deal of care in the content production. We decided to start with 4 skills going forward. Now, GlobalEnglish, if anybody knows GlobalEnglish, they have the Reach app. And years ago, they had a product called Focus. And Focus was based on these skill outcomes. We selected 4 to start with. So participating in meetings, business presentations, business negotiations, and business writing. We plan to release more. So this is our content production roadmap, each with a modular structure, with a clean digital onboarding flow, very light touch, not a lot of human support. So this is a scalable product. Each course is 5 weeks long. Something I hadn't spoken about yet, but it's important, is that each one of these skill modules is available at different levels of difficulty, so low intermediate, high intermediate, and advanced, which creates a vertical track of development within each skill. Skill development is not binary. It's not like you can lead a meeting or not lead a meeting. You can lead a meeting badly, a bit better. You can lead a meeting really well. The development in the skill area should offer a vertical track of development the same way we do with more robust level-based courses. And the interaction between level-based training, which might take a bit longer, typically 72 hours with Learnship for a full Common European Framework level, and these shorter 5-week modules. So if you can imagine you're at the B1 level, and you imagine B2 as another step, and then C1 as another step, these skill modules lie on the steps. They don't take you to the next one, but they optimize your ability in that narrow parameter area at that level, if that makes sense. This is an example of a 5-week course in more detail. So this is participating in meetings at the high intermediate band. You'll start out with the first week. So we said the digital platform first, then the trainer, then the micro-learning reinforcement forms a week. First week is the ability to initiate and maintain small talk. After that, getting input from your colleagues, sticking to the agenda. Third week, making the link between cause and effect in meeting situations. The fourth, extending your ability to disagree, propose alternatives without causing offense. And then a review in the 5th week. And that's where the trainer will assess your ability according to the can-do statements that we've established for that week. And those are the same can-do statements that you'll see in the digital scoring system, which is reported in the dashboard, which means the dashboard can report both quantitative and qualitatively how well you've done. And as human communication is a performative task, we need the trainer's professional judgment to see how well that's been achieved, right? That's quite important as well. 3 steps, 45 minutes of e-learning, 60 minutes with the trainer, although I'll be transparent with you. We're doing user testing currently, and we're looking at 30 minutes as well. In Asia, it's quite popular to have these shorter sessions. Pedagogically, what it means is you're spending a little bit less time on the setup for the role play. It depends how fluent the learner is. We've had quite a lot of success with shorter sessions with lower level proficiency learners who find an hour quite long. Stronger learners sometimes find it, they need a bit more time to get really into the case study and really have their say. We're initially starting with a one-to-one structure, and when we get our automatic scheduling tool working for groups, we'll open that up as well later in 2020. So yeah, and I can just speak briefly about the first feedback that we received. It's really interesting, actually, that Learnship started in Germany, Switzerland, and France. So we were more of a sort of, well, boutique or on the pricier end of the scale. And we're now playing in markets like Latin America. We're playing in markets like Asia, where a lower price point is more important, offering solutions which meet a sort of wider group of the employee base. So feedback so far has been quite positive. We've tweaked a few things, as we've said. We've looked at shorter sessions. We've looked at providing more scaffolding, more exercises leading up to the role play. Culturally, it's quite interesting. If you're working in Germany, Spain, Italy, people are quite fluent. They want to talk. It's not difficult to get the learner to engage. When you're working with Chinese or Japanese people, it's a little bit harder. You actually need to provide smaller chunks, more scaffolding, more support, and have people just speaking for shorter bursts. And that also helps your trainers. One thing I didn't mention so far, we put a lot of investment into the trainer notes. So those trainer notes include the timings for each stage, the sequencing, suggestions for what you could do with weaker classes, for students who are actually not speaking, and so on. What we've learned out of it is that the integration of the development teams from GlobalEnglish and Learnship, the communication between the teams is absolutely critical. And we now have interdisciplinary team alignment calls using Microsoft Teams, and we do that very regularly in the process, just before every sprint. And the product owners attend, I attend, we've got people attending from marketing and sales and so on. So the development of a product is obviously a multifaceted thing, and internal communication within the company is very, very important. So over the course of 2020, Learnship and GlobalEnglish will become one entity. And we've already done that with the product team. So this is something we're really excited about. It'll be on offer commercially from second quarter this year. And yeah, if there are any questions at this stage, this would be perhaps a good moment.
Voilà, donc, tiens, ouais. Des questions? Donc vous pouvez poser des questions. Allô? Oui, 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 oui. Il parle plus fort que moi, c'est vrai. Donc, vous pouvez poser des questions en français ou en anglais. Et donc, Rob, il peut faire les deux, même en question. Répondre. You can answer questions in French or... Okay, I'll translate. Ah bah, je vais traduire si vous avez besoin. Donc, par rapport à sa présentation et la nouveauté, GlobalEnglish, les plateformes e-learning, les plateformes Learnship, pas d'interrogation. Question de pédagogie, question d'utilisation, question de... Non? Vous avez une question en tête? Non? Non, non, c'est...
Alors, petite information, on est en train de créer de mettre en place cette offre Blended Skills en phase de test auprès de nos clients. Et on voulait, pourquoi pas, ouvrir cette phase de test à des entreprises qui ne nous connaissent pas. Donc, est-ce que parmi l'audience, un responsable formation serait intéressé pour participer à, au lancement et à la phase de test de l'offre Blended Skills? Vous allez me vexer hein, si personne...
C'est gratuit, n'est-ce pas?
Comment?
C'est gratuit. Pilote.
C'est une phase pilote. Pour l'instant, on n'a pas défini les critères, mais on est en train de préparer.
Peut-être sur votre stand, vous pouvez négocier. Donc, je vous invite à aller sur le stand numéro...
Dès 62, il
62.
Y a nos collaborateurs qui sont là, en effet, pour vous y guider. Et n'hésitez pas à vous inscrire auprès de nous à cette phase de test. Vous serez les premiers, en effet, à faire bénéficier certains collaborateurs de votre entreprise de cette offre-là.
Très bien, je vous remercie de cette présentation.